Who are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL? Let's talk about it. Hello everybody, welcome to the Lunch Table. My name's Evan. Today I'm joined with Nick and Zach, and today we're going to be reacting to ESPN's top 10 quarterback list and giving our own lists and kind of just talking about that. We'll also sprinkle in wide receivers, running backs later on, but first off, we're doing quarterbacks, but before we dive into that, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and to follow us on Instagram and TikTok on lunchtable.takes. Without further ado, I'll read this list off. So this list was taken by NFL execs, scouts, and coaches. They rank their top 10 quarterbacks, and ESPN puts this list out every year. And this year's list is as follows. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Matthew Stafford. Number 6, Justin Herbert. Number 7, C.J. Stroud. Number 8, Aaron Rodgers. Number 9, Jared Goff. And number 10, Dak Prescott. So, boys, how do we feel about this list?
Honestly, overall, I think this is a pretty good list. There's a couple of changes that I would make and that I did make. But I mean, I saw this and overall, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty good list. I mean, I don't really have a lot of complaints with this list, to be full on honest with you.
Yeah, it's not a bad list this time around. I have 9 of the 10, like not exactly in the same order, but I have like 9 of the 10 top 10 quarterbacks in my top 10.
Yeah, I think I do too,
well.
actually. No, I don't.
I think Matthew Stafford at 5 is way too high.
That's
personally.
one of the changes that I made.
Yeah. I think Stafford at 5 is too high. I also flipped Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. I have Lamar at 2 and Burrow at 4.
And that's god-awful.
I don't think it is at all. Did we talk about this on the...
No, you guys saved it for this one.
We did?
Yeah, you're like, no, we'll save it for this one.
I'm just going to say, though, am I going to trust the thoughts and opinions of you, who are known for bad takes?
I'm not known for bad takes.
Or the thoughts and opinions of NFL coaches, executives, and scouts?
We did this exact video last year, and I had by far the best list going into the year of any of us.
I'm just saying.
I need to remind you of the Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase incident.
I'm just saying. That's the only one that I was. That's the only one.
I also had the best predictions. I was easily the best.
Well, and last year was the worst year of NFL football I've seen in my life.
I struggle to comprehend why you think Joe Burrow is so much better than Lamar Jackson.
He just is. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a better athlete by far, but I'm not talking about athletes. I'm talking about the quarterback.
I understand
Joe Burrow plays the quarterback position way better than Lamar Jackson does. Joe Burrow can win you games with his arm. We've seen that thousands of times. Lamar Jackson cannot. We've also seen that thousands of times.
Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP, brother. He wins
because he runs all over the field.
No. He wins games in the regular season at a historically dominant rate.
Regular season.
Regular
gives
season.
Me
personally, I don't think Joe Burrow's playoff career is that special. To be truthfully honest with you,
it's better than everyone else on this list except for Mahomes.
I mean, yeah, but like,
yeah.
Here's the thing: you have Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, 2, 3, 4, right, or whatever order you want. Okay.
There is a correct.
The last time all of them played Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, they all lost. So I don't understand where this Joe Burrow can beat Patrick Mahomes. They all lost the last time they played him.
But who out of all of those guys has beaten Mahomes?
Yeah,
multiple times,
3 years ago in a game where he didn't even play that well.
2 years ago.
It's going to be 3 years ago by the time this playoff season comes around. We're not in 2021 anymore. This is 2024. I'm not putting...
He has literally only not beaten Mahomes one time. And the only reason he didn't win that one, and you will agree, is because Tyler Boyd got hurt.
I am not putting a guy who missed half the year last year over the reigning MVP. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for this quarterback.
Well, but see, here's the thing. You are just like all those other average NFL football fans who... As Joe Burrow said, literally last week on Barstool's Big Cat podcast, that they forget about him.
Source of information.
They forget Joe Burrow himself.
No, Barstool, the Big Cat podcast.
They forget about him. They forget about him just because he hasn't played. I'm
not forgetting about him. I have him at 4.
If he would have played last year, there's absolutely no way you wouldn't still have him at least at 3.
I don't know,
like,
man.
If you put Josh...
When he played in the beginning of the year last year, he wasn't playing well then
Because he was hurt.
He still played, brother. He was still playing. He still played full games.
I mean, Lamar...
I understand his ankle
at
and his calf weren't great,
at least
but-
he plays through injuries. Lamar Jackson sprains his ankle and sits out the entire rest
Lamar
of the
Jackson
season.
has a grade 3 high ankle sprain that could damage his future mobility and concussions. But yeah, it's his fault he doesn't play through them.
I mean,
what are you talking
Lamar
about?
Jackson doesn't play through an ankle sprain. Joe Burrow plays through a calf sprain.
He plays like crap in those games too.
But at least he gets on the
he
field and
actively
plays.
hurts his team when he plays through injury.
At least he gets on the field and plays.
Okay, so you're telling me you remember when
the other
remember when Baker Mayfield sprained his shoulder in like 2021 or whatever that year was, and he played through his injury, and that's the sole reason he's not still the Browns quarterback right now? You saying it's a good idea that he played through that injury? Because he's a tough guy and he toughed it out.
I think it was stupid on the Browns' part to get rid of him because of that.
No,
to be full
he
on
should
honest
not have played through that injury. That's the only reason he's not the Browns quarterback right now.
But the Browns were stupid to let him go for
I'm not going to give credit to a dude who plays through injury when the injury is actively hampering his play. I'm not doing that. Especially,
do I think he should have played through
when
it?
you're
No.
Joe Burrow's age. If you're like in your late 30s and this is your last chance for a Super Bowl run, okay, sure, whatever.
This
Other
is
than
just
that, I'm
not
not going to do that.
I don't even know why we're discussing this. Do I agree that he shouldn't have played through it? Yes, absolutely. I don't think he should have played. But
yeah, but he did.
But that doesn't what does that have to do with anything? He's still a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
No, not in 2024. No.
He definitely is.
If he has a good year this year, he could shoot. Like he could very easily be number 2.
Evan, what are your thoughts here? You're just letting us go at it. Where are you at here?
I said my thoughts the last podcast. I still have Burrow at 2, but I don't think it's like Burrow 2 and then Gap and then Lamar. I think it's very close because, I mean, like Nick said, Lamar has won 2 MVPs. You can't take that away from him. That's the highest accolade that you can get in the sport. And Burrow's been. He wasn't healthy last year, so it was a down year. But when he's fully healthy, I think he's the second best quarterback in the world. And I think that he can definitely, like, the Bengals are so much better when he's there, obviously, and so are the Ravens with Lamar. But I think quarterback-wise, I think Burrow is better, but Lamar is just as great, and he deserves to be in this discussion because he's a 2-time MVP, and he just had a phenomenal season.
He's definitely not just as great, but I will the gap is not huge. Like I'm not even saying the gap's huge.
2 MVPs.
I'm just saying.
What are you talking about?
The gap is not huge, but Joe Burrow, when healthy, is definitely the better quarterback.
Joe Burrow's best accolades through 4 years is beating one other quarterback in a game one time.
Are you seriously going to sit here and tell me that if you're starting a franchise from scratch, both players at full health, you would take Lamar over Burrow?
Right now, yes.
That is a.
I would absolutely take Lamar Jackson right now over Joe Burrow.
That's really bad.
100%.
That's really bad.
It's not like 100%.
That's really bad.
He's winning like 75% of his starts in the regular season.
That's really bad.
I'm taking Josh Allen over Joe Burrow right now.
That's also pretty bad.
I'm just keeping it out.
I have never seen a quarterback do for a franchise what Burrow did for the Bengals outside of like Mahomes and like right now, outside of Mahomes.
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Right now.
Oh, right. Okay. Right now.
Burrow completely changed the entire trajectory of the future of this franchise. And without him, they are a significantly worse team.
C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert hasn't gotten any help, but C.J. Stroud's right there, too.
I haven't seen it like Burrow's done it. When he is healthy, I'm not taking anybody above him except Mahomes. And it's not even a question when he's healthy.
I'm gonna disagree with that, and we're gonna move on.
Well, you just objectively have a bad take here.
Stafford, I think Stafford at 5 is too high. I have C.J. Stroud and Justin Herbert above Matthew Stafford. I have Stafford at 7 just because
What does Lamar do that is better than Joe Burrow in any way other than running the football as it pertains to the quarterback position?
I understand. You do realize that having a running quarterback is just as effective as having a passing quarterback, right? It adds to their effectiveness.
What does Lamar Jackson do as a quarterback that is better than Burrow other than his legs?
You can't just say, what does he do?
Nothing.
Okay, if I was like...
You aren't answering me, so it's nothing.
If I was like, what does Joe Burrow do better than Lamar Jackson outside of his pocket presence, you probably couldn't come up with an answer either.
Better decision-making, better arm, better passing, better accuracy. better leader.
No.
I just named you everything pretty much that pertains to the quarterback.
No.
Joe Burrow is better in every single way than Lamar Jackson, except for on the ground. Except for running the ball.
You're saying
not even
Lamar
what a
Jackson
position
is
does.
like, this is like close to a Lamar Jackson running back take. Right?
No.
You're saying he like can't do anything outside of run the football.
I'm not saying he can't do anything. I have him at number 4, so I'm not saying he can't do anything.
Just because Joe Burrow
I'm just saying that he
is
doesn't.
a better thrower doesn't mean Lamar Jackson can't throw the football. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that he doesn't do anything as a quarterback better than Burrow except for run the ball.
I respectfully disagree. This is a 2024.
What does he do?
This is a 2024 QB ranking.
What's
He literally won the MVP. He's a 2-time MVP, brother.
I don't care. Get rid of this MVP. That's
Get rid of
all
the
you're saying.
highest individual accolade
What
in team
does he
sports.
do?
Yeah, all right.
What does he do on an individual basis based upon quarterbacks that is better than
Win
Burrow?
games better than Joe Burrow.
No, he does not.
He has a higher winning percentage in the regular season than Joe Burrow.
Regular season, I don't give a crap.
Regular season games matter too.
Yes, but I don't give a crap. Joe Burrow has
Now
actually.
you don't give a crap about
Joe
apart
Burrow-
from 70%
Evan,
of the season.
What?
Yeah, all
Evan,
right.
Tune in on here. Quit just you say something here.
I've said all I needed to say.
What does Lamar Jackson do that's better than Joe Burrow in any way other than run the ball?
Win games. Higher winning percentage. You care so much about winning games. Lamar Jackson's objectively better.
I think, yeah, I would agree with that, but it's like, so if you're looking at it passing wise, Lamar's MVP season, his first one, he had 36 touchdowns and through the air, 3,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Just a year prior, Joe Burrow had 45,000 yards, 35 touchdowns.
45,000 yards?
4,500 yards, sorry. 35 touchdowns and 12 picks, but Lamar, that MVP year, had over 1,000 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. But, like, there's been 2 years that Joe Burrow has not thrown for over 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, and those have been the seasons where he has not played the entire season. And Lamar has eclipsed that one time. He's gotten over 3,000 yards passing twice and over 30 touchdowns once.
Yeah,
but his running is
That's what I'm saying.
so good. But Joe Burrow has never been considered a running quarterback.
That's not what he is.
He's a pocket passer. So
I'm taking
not factor that in.
I'm taking that quarterback. I'm taking that quarterback over Lamar's quarterback.
It just depends. Yeah, it's like what quarterback.
So, like,
would you rather have a pocket passer or a mobile quarterback?
Or
they both can throw the ball.
What is that? Like an improviser or whatever that's called,
Yeah.
like whatever Burrow is.
They both can throw the ball. We've seen that. They both are capable of moving outside of the pocket. But Lamar's calling card is that he's a great athlete and he can run. That's why
he's the best running quarterback the sport has ever seen.
That's why he won the Heisman Trophy in college, and that's why he has won 2 MVPs, because he can run and his throwing has improved from his first MVP to now. His throwing has improved. Drastically. And if we're being honest, his receiving core is like right
awful
now is
until now.
Is like not great, and so. I see arguments for both sides, but I still would swing Burrow just because I've seen, like, we've seen comparisons to him, like, of great quarterbacks, and I think he can win playoff games better than Lamar can.
By far.
And, I mean, if you think about team-wise, they have roughly the same. The Ravens have a better defense.
Way better defense, actually.
They have a better offensive line.
Way better.
The only thing that they have the Bengals right now have a better receiving core, and they're probably tied. Actually, no, they have a better running back because they have Derrick Henry now. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think we can't.
Burrow has actually had more success with less.
The only reason that Burrow isn't like. It probably isn't at 2 for most people's list is just because of the injury stuff.
But once again, he is at 2 for the people that actually know what they're talking about.
Yes. But Lamar's injury has been towards the end of the season, so he's missed like 3 or 4 games, which hurts their playoff hopes. But Burrow's had season-ending injuries, which is troublesome. But I think they're both obviously great quarterbacks. I think Joe Burrow definitely is going to win an MVP in his career.
At least one.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely win multiple.
Oh, he has MVPs debate is going to be thrown out the window.
So
until he wins one.
I see
He doesn't have one
I
yet.
see arguments for both sides. So if we're nitpicking, I would probably still go with Burrow as the more complete quarterback.
All right,
Yes.
Well, we'll see.
So
we'll
like
see
so
this year.
so as I said, he does nothing better than Lamar except for run the ball.
Yes, but he's still
As I said.
great at a lot of stuff.
I have him in the top 5. I'm not saying he's not.
No, I know.
But
Just making
Burrow
sure that
is
we
the better,
preface that.
well-rounded quarterback. That's a good way of putting it, actually. Burrow's the better, well-rounded quarterback all around. Okay.
All right, what were you saying? You had Stafford lower, Nick?
Yeah,
than
I had
5?
Stafford at 7. I had C.J. Stroud and Justin Herbert both above Matthew Stafford. It's not a disrespect to Matthew Stafford, but Stroud and Herbert's play style at this point in time, I prefer more. We did our QB tier list, and I changed a couple things from it. I actually have Brock Purdy in my top 10 now. Here's the thing. Everyone's talking about, like, Dak Prescott and how he was in the MVP conversation, okay? Purdy was genuinely in the MVP conversation until Baltimore played them on Christmas Day. Like, Prescott was only in the MVP conversation for, like, what, a week or two? Purdy was in there until Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And he also made the Super Bowl and had historically dominant, like, QBR and efficiency stats. I understand the support, like, in his support with Shanahan and all the weapons that he has helps him out tremendously, but I don't think you can put up the kind of statistical dominance efficiency-wise without being, like, a good quarterback at the NFL level. And a lot of people seem to have Purdy in their top 10. Yeah. So I think Purdy has earned it, personally, after this past year. I bumped Jalen Hurts down to 11. I took a deeper look at his stats. He fell off hard from 2022 to 2023, especially in the second half of last year. Jalen Hurts is still really good. I think I have Aaron Rodgers at 8 and then Jared Goff at 9, so the exact same as the ESPN list. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have Brock Purdy at 10. I have Jalen Hurts at 11. I think you all know my opinions on Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott at 10 is way too high. I think you know what you're going to get from him at this point in his career. I'm not giving him praise for underachieving with elite talent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After
Where
this,
do they have Dak?
They have Dak at 10.
10.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a really good year.
He did have a really good year last year until the playoffs came around. They laid an egg
That's
again.
what happens every time.
Yeah. That's what you get with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys at this point.
I mean, maybe I was looking at it from a fantasy standpoint, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're going off of last year alone, Brock definitely deserves to be up there because I mean, like you said, he was in the MVP running for most of the season. He had a 73 QBR, which is insane. And he led him to the Super Bowl, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can see the argument where you put him at 10. I personally don't have him at 10. I have him right outside, but I'm fine with Dak at 10. I think Dak is, like you said, you know what you're getting from him, but what you're getting from him is very good regular season play. Like last season, he had 36 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 4,500 yards. That's pretty good.
Well, and I think the other thing you got to think about is that, I mean, because I was on the, like, oh, Dak Prescott sucks train, but, like, I've lightened a little bit because the other thing that you got to think about is that his main, like, black spot is his playoff success. But, I mean, I think partially that playoff success has to be in the hands of Mike McCarthy, too. I don't think Mike McCarthy should be the Cowboys coach anymore.
No, but even before Mike McCarthy was the coach, when they still had Jason Garrett, he was still underachieving in the postseason.
Yeah, but is Jason Garrett notable too?
I mean, no, but still. At some point, you can't keep blaming the head coach for
quarterbacks
underachieving.
I mean, and like, Dak Prescott does. He does not play at the same level in the playoffs as he does in the regular season. No doubt about it. But I think the entire team is that same way. I don't think it's just Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott is single-handedly bringing them down in the playoffs. I think the whole team just for some reason decides to suck balls in the playoffs.
I don't know, man. Dak hasn't played well. I don't know if there's been a single playoff game in his entire career where he's played well. I'm just being I don't know. Maybe like during COVID or something. maybe pre-ankle injury Dak, he played well against like the Packers or something. I don't know.
I just think
but recently, like, no.
I would take Dak Prescott over several other quarterbacks just because of the upside that he has and has proved through his regular season play, at least, you know. Like, I was fully on the train of, oh, he sucks, get him out of here, but I mean, do I think he's as good as some people say he is, or as Cowboys fans say he is? Absolutely not. But I also think that he is better than multiple other options that you can have.
You can definitely do a lot worse at quarterback than Dak Prescott.
So, I mean, his only black spot is playoff play, which is due to the entire team, due to coaching. It's not so...
Yeah,
like,
but then you just trashed on Lamar for his playoff play, so I don't understand where this logic is coming from.
If the entire team was, like, playing phenomenal, like unreal football, and Dak Prescott just goes out there and throws like 4 picks, then yeah, that's him. But I don't think that's the case.
Like, who is it? Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Ryan
Like,
Tannehill,
yeah, like if Dak Prescott
that's a fair comparison.
If Dak Prescott was putting on Ryan Tannehill display in the playoffs, then that's him.
Yeah,
but,
4 turnovers in the divisional round.
I mean, like, what are these?
I mean, he hasn't been great.
Okay, I mean, look at 2 years ago. You look at what happened with the 49ers 2 years ago. You're looking at time management, clock management. That's head coach.
And
2 years ago was they lost to the Niners when the final play of the
no.
game. That was 3 years ago.
So
that was the Zeke center play where he just got bull rushed.
And once again, that's coaching.
Dak Prescott didn't play well. They lost 19-12. He didn't do anything.
Okay, yes, but still, like, I mean, you're looking at the course of the game here. It's not solely on Dak.
If Dak Prescott was in his 4th or 5th year, I would be like, yeah, this is gonna be his 10th year in the NFL.
He's been in the NFL that long?
Yes. He was drafted in 2014. This is going to be his 10th season in the NFL.
He got drafted in 2016.
Oh, was it 2016?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was
not. So what? 9 years?
8.
This is 8th year.
I think
he hasn't been in the league that long.
2,
I thought
3, 4, 5,
I thought
6,
2014
7, 8.
he was playing for
This will
Mississippi
be his
State.
9th year.
Okay, but still, he's been in the league for almost a decade,
and he's
going to
be 31.
I mean, I remember him when he was a rookie.
That's
like,
what
he
I'm
hasn't
saying.
been-
I remember
he's
him
not
when
that
he was
old.
playing at Mississippi State.
He came onto the scene like crazy.
Yeah, like he's not that old. Like, I think that you can.
4 comebacks.
I think that you can make a playoff run with Dak Prescott at quarterback.
We've said this every year, and it's never happened.
Trust me, I am
He's
far.
kind of, you know what I'm saying?
No, seriously, I am far from the Cowboys. Oh, this is our year. I was actually the only one last year saying that
You
they
were,
weren't.
yeah. We were like, they're legit, and you were like, nothing's happened. We'll see what happens in playoff time.
I'm far from that, but I do still think Dak Prescott has the tools and like the efficiency and like I think he has the ability to win a playoff.
I think once you get into that like 10 to like 15 or 16 range, it's kind of like they're all like a similar caliber.
I mean, like the guys that I have below him, like Kirk, Jordan Love, Tua, Brock Purdy, you can win. You can have playoff success with any of those guys. Yeah. I just took it because Dak Prescott had a phenomenal year last year, to be honest. Regular season, speaking.
Yeah.
That's kind of why
at least you're not on the play that he played well in that playoff game, even though he had.
Yeah, no, he has not played great in the playoffs.
No, he hasn't, and there's no doubting that. I'm just saying that like.
But I mean, you gotta
like the Cowboys like signature like meltdown in the postseason isn't solely on Dak.
Yeah, I mean since he absolutely shattered his ankle when he was fully healthy in 2021 and 2023, he threw for 4,500 yards, over 35 touchdowns, and 10 or less interceptions. But then the playoff success has obviously still been bad.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, you know what you're getting with him. You know you're going to be a good regular season team. The Cowboys were 11-5 in 2021, 12-5 in 2023. But Dak's not a quarterback that you were like, okay, plug him into this Cowboys team, we're winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
Like he's a great quarterback, and it's kind of like how the Vikings were with like Kirk Cousins, where he's a great quarterback, but are you really going to win a Super Bowl with this guy? But like you can't really move on from him. I mean, they did, but like it's now they're
not at this point in Dak's career.
Like it's hard. It's hard to like you have to rationalize. Like, do you move on from the top 10, top 12 guy to like kind of restart with what they are doing now? So he's kind of in like a weird like middle zone where he's really good, but he's not any of the like I do not think he's going to take the Cowboys to Super Bowl.
He's not like
but like regular season. After, if we're going off of this past year, I think he deserves to be in the top 10 because he had
and even probably the year before too. I mean,
the year before he was terrible.
Yeah,
year before
he led the league in interceptions.
He had 15.
Oh, that's right. That was that.
Yeah. So the not this last year, but the year before that.
Yeah.
all the Dak Prescott hate is completely valid.
Well, that's actually where mine came from.
But then he picked it up this year
Yeah.
and kind of basically did what he did in 2021, where he put together a pretty great season.
Yeah.
But the playoff success is why he's not
Getting
he's not
embarrassed at
higher.
home by the Packers.
But I also just
is
think it's kind of a
bad when you're the
Cowboys
2
thing.
seed.
Yeah, well, it's also a Cowboys thing, like you
Like the
said.
Cowboys just haven't.
I think, and I don't think Mike McCarthy is really that guy.
No, Mike
coach-wise.
McCarthy should have been fired. He should have been fired 2 years ago.
Exactly.
I was shocked that
So,
he kept
I,
his
but
job after
I,
last year.
I agree with you though. Like, he's not like the guys that I have listed in my top 6 are the guys that are like, you know, these are guys that are going to win you a Super Bowl.
Like S
and
tier guy.
yeah,
Carry your team to a Super Bowl.
yeah, and he's not that guy. And like, if you take Dak Prescott out and you put him in most other teams outside of the 49ers, it's not a plug and play Super Bowl, like you said. But like these top 6 guys, if you put Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Stroud, or Herbert on the Niners or most other teams,
Easily. Yeah.
immediate Super Bowl.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So he's not that guy, but I do think that he is
You
at
can
least
win,
worthy of
yeah.
the discussion.
You can
of
win.
top 10.
You can win with him, but he's
Yeah.
not going to carry your team
No.
past where they should
No,
be.
no.
Yeah,
I
like
think-
if he was plug and played on the Niners, they'd probably do pretty well.
yeah.
But
But the Niners are. I mean, they.
The Niners are an anomaly.
yeah.
But like I think like obviously like Brock Purdy kind of has that like winning mindset more than
He does.
than I
Yeah.
would say Dak does.
Some quarterbacks have that, dude.
Because like Brock Purdy's not as probably talented as
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
That
But
is such a
he's-
real thing, too.
But he's more of like a winner than Dak Prescott.
Like that is genuinely
Granted,
such a
he has a
real
great
thing.
Yeah, I think
Like you
there's.
can't like, and like people hate on me when I say that about like Burrow or like other guys. It's like this isn't like a stat, and you can't give it a name. But some quarterbacks just have that, and others don't. Like he's just a winner.
Yeah.
Like that. Like Brock Purdy is a winner. Like he's not as talented or as good as probably any of these other guys in the top 10, but he's a winner. You know.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way you can put Dak Prescott above Brock Purdy after the years they both had.
That's fair.
They both had pretty similar stat lines, and Purdy literally went to a Super Bowl.
That's
so.
fair.
And it's not like the Cowboys supporting cast last year was bad.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'm
Jake
not.
Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb,
Yeah.
Tony Pollard were still there. They still had an elite O-line and a phenomenal defense.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
just their
gonna.
head coach wasn't great.
I'm not gonna sit here and defend Dak Prescott like I'll defend Joe Burrow. I mean, personally, I had him above Brock, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and complain about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I think
I'm
you
not-
could-
I'm not gonna,
You
like,
very,
whine
you
about
very
that,
well could put
no.
Brock above
Yeah,
him. I don't
I
really
can
care.
totally
Honestly,
see
they're
Brock
both good. You know.
Yeah. Do you guys? Where do you guys have Stroud higher than 7, right?
I have at 5.
I also have Stroud at 5.
That's what I thought.
It's just his stat line doesn't like jump off the page, but this is where watching him play
Yeah.
comes into effect. There is no possible way the Texans should have been even close to winning a division. And they won that division because of DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Particularly the play of CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that game against Tampa Bay last year where the Texans defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, CJ Stroud put them on his back.
Yeah.
And carried them to that game. The playoff game against Cleveland, their defense helped out. CJ Stroud still had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's got ice in his veins. He's got everything you want.
No,
out of a
CJ
franchise
Stroud.
quarterback.
CJ Stroud's definitely that guy.
Yes.
I think it is perfectly reasonable for him to be 5 right now.
And I put him above Herbert because he already has more playoff success than
I
Justin
also
Herbert
put him above Herbert.
in 1 year.
That is true.
Now that the Burrow and Herbert debate has ceased
Yes.
for the most part,
Stroud, Herbert.
Right now, yeah.
I do undoubtedly think that Justin Herbert is a phenomenal quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
He is a unbelievable talent.
Yeah, he's one of the most
He's
talented
got a
quarterbacks in the
cannon. Like Justin Herbert is like a dream quarterback. He's tall, he's big, he's athletic, he moves well, he's
got a
fast, he's got a
nuke of an
rocket
arm,
cannon.
yeah.
So I actually really like Justin Herbert a lot.
Yeah.
I think that his biggest issue has been the guys around him, team and coaching.
He's been fairly injured, hasn't
Yeah, he a couple
Yeah,
of
he's
years
had
ago
some
he broke
injuries,
his
too.
ribs. Last
Yeah.
year he missed the last 5 games because of
Yeah.
his finger.
I mean, not like
the starters
season
weren't
damage.
doing anything last year.
No,
still.
but like I think Justin Herbert's biggest issue has been the guys around him, and I'm talking coaching
But
and team.
Here's the thing: we're going on. Is this going to be year 5 for Justin Herbert as well? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he came in
Burrow
the
and
same year
Herbert
as
came in the
Burrow,
same
yeah.
class. It's like Like, at some point, you got to stop making excuses for him.
The year that they lost to the Jags, that's no excuse in the playoffs. That was bad. His one playoff appearance, that was really, really bad.
I still stand on the fact that I think Brandon Staley was the reason they lost that game, but Justin Herbert did not play well.
No,
There's
was
no
bad.
excuse
That
for blowing
was
a
really
27-0 lead in the playoffs. No excuse.
Yeah, that was bad. But, I mean, I do still think that, honestly speaking, like, if I'm like starting I don't know. I was gonna say if I'm starting a franchise, I would probably have Herbert in my like top 5, but I mean I might not. I don't know.
It's close.
It's close. I don't know. Herbert is like, I would
If
take.
you're going off of pure talent, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the
Which if you're starting a franchise, that's what you're going off. If you're going off of talent, so I would take Justin Herbert. I mean, I would probably take him over
like his
a guy that I just
his second year in the league. He threw for 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 15 picks.
That's absurd.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And just his second year.
No,
Then
Herbert,
he hasn't improved.
No, but then after.
well, that's when the injuries set in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 2022 he played 17 games, so he was fairly healthy then.
Yeah.
Because he played through the rib injury.
Yeah, he
That
did.
But I mean,
He was not nearly as mobile as he was because of his broken rib.
He went down in yards and he went down significantly in touchdowns. He went from 38 to 25.
Yeah, that's
and then
pretty
this year
significant.
he in only 13 games had 3,000 yards, 20 picks, and 7 touchdowns.
Well, I think that's kind of why the debate has ceased because I mean, if you're looking at that statistically wise, I mean, he really only had one phenomenal.
I mean,
year.
stats aren't the
They are not the end all
all
be all,
be all.
as I've made very clear. But like for the people, for your average football fan and average onlooker, that's all they look at, and that would
Well, then if you look around, like the Chargers team as a whole for the last couple of years has been very injury prone.
Yeah.
But I mean, Keenan Allen is still a great receiver. You had Mike Williams, who when healthy is one of the better deep ball.
Now, see, I'm not. I don't
he's still
think
good.
Mike Williams is
He's
that
good
He's
when
still
he's
good.
on the field, but the problem is he's never on the field.
Yeah, but when he's on the field, he's good. Josh Palmer's not bad. They have a
Personally, I think their
They
receiving
don't have
room
any of them anymore.
their
They have
receiving
Josh Palmer.
their receiving room is very, very weak.
I know,
Now
but
it
when like the last couple of years
Yeah.
when Herbert's been there,
They've had
their receiving core has been
solid.
respectable.
Yeah.
But they just haven't been able to stay healthy. So you can't. I feel like the argument is not that Herbert doesn't have like help. Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't have help because they're not available. Yes, but like they have the talent. But I just like Stroud. I mean, he had one of the best rookie seasons I've ever seen.
It's actually between Stroud and Herbert in terms of.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
Herbert had a
was
better
like,
statistical
crazy.
season, but Stroud literally won a playoff game.
As of today, I would probably take Stroud over Herbert.
He's younger. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Herbert's like 25.
I know Herbert's not like old, but you do have a couple extra years with CJ Stroud.
I don't know. I mean, that's honestly really tough, though. I mean, that's almost a flip of the coin thing because it's. I mean, like I said, Justin Herbert, in my opinion, is like a dream quarterback, like physically speaking, and like talent wise. I mean, Herbert has it all. You know,
I think what puts Stroud super high is just his ability to not turn the ball over.
Yeah,
like,
that is what's
only
really
5
good about
interceptions to 23 touchdowns.
as a rookie.
Yeah.
That's a crazy interception to touchdown interception.
Yeah, no, that is one thing that Stroud does better than I think any of these guys in the top 5 is his turnovers.
Yeah, so percentage of times when attempting to pass, minimum 14 attempts per scheduled game. Okay, minimum of 15 pass attempts, 1,500 pass attempts. He has a 1%.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
insane.
He started the year last year with like a historically
I think it was like
he
7
almost
or 8
broke
games
the
without a
record.
pick.
Because didn't he? He didn't. Yeah. How long?
He went like 7 or 8 games without throwing a pick.
Yeah. Which I mean, that's
insane.
as a quarterback, like that's huge.
Yeah, no, that is one thing that CJ Stroud does better than I think any of these guys.
Yeah,
in the top
and now
10.
I think with the receiving core that they have in the weapons, I think his touchdowns will get there.
Yeah.
I think he'll get in the 30s in touchdown. I mean, 4,100
I think
yards.
he could definitely get in the 30s. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's not a stretch at all.
No.
honestly.
Like
Should be
4,100.
expected to get in the
Yeah.
30s, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I mean, that would be. I mean, he had 23 this past.
I mean,
year,
you could.
so
I mean,
that would be
I don't know. You could even
good
see.
jump. He could get 40.
I was gonna say you could even see 40 with him. I mean, 40's pretty elite range, but I think
40 is MVP level. Good.
Yeah, well, he probably could.
and Patrick Mahomes had 50
yeah,
one year.
Patrick Mahomes did have 51 years.
Yeah, I mean,
2018.
yeah, that's insane. He's one of 3 players to do that.
But again, like we were just talking about, like CJ Stroud has come into the league and he's already proven that he's just like.
well,
a
but see,
winner,
here's the
like,
if you're
it's a winning quarterback.
yeah, if you're gonna argue for CJ Stroud to get like 40 plus touchdowns, like MVP level, I think the argument's there. He's a winner. He's very, very safe with the ball, and he's got probably the best supporting cast in the league now.
It's an argument,
Close to it,
for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, I think
Nico
Which is
Collins,
crazy-
Tank
which
Dell,
is-
Stephon Diggs,
which
and
is
Dalton
crazy to
Schultz,
say
Yeah.
for
and
a
Joe
Texans
Mixon in the
team.
backfield.
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like I mean, I think CJ Stroud. I mean, it should be expected for him to get in the 30s.
Yeah.
The 40s is possible.
I think like CJ, like he didn't come into like a great situation, but he elevated all of those players to where
Him
they are
and
now.
D'Amico Ryans made it a
Yeah.
great situation.
Like Nico Collins, we're like, okay, this guy's shown flashes. He could be something. Like he exploded last year. Tank Dell immediately exploded.
before he broke his fibula.
Yeah.
That was a shame to see.
And then I mean Dalton Schultz has been good, but
Dalton Schultz has been
like we've known that the Texans were building something just because they've been bad and they they garnered a lot of good picks and they've been doing pretty decent. But
they came on the scene really fast. Though.
yeah, faster than I think. Like
It was
you
like
said,
Bengals-esque,
yeah, like
where it's
faster
like the
than
year
anybody
before it's like they
expected.
were terrible, and then the year after it's like, why
Yeah.
is this team
And
like...
now,
Yeah,
now they're
that-
in like Super Bowl conversations
Yeah.
with Diggs and all those guys. Like they're
Yeah,
gonna be
that like
crazy.
I can think of 2 instances where a team has exploded onto the scene as fast or faster than the Texans did last year. And number 1 is the greatest show on turf. The year before,
Yeah,
they won 3
yeah,
games,
yeah.
and the next year they went to the Super Bowl. And then the Bengals, they won 4 games and went to the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah.
And then those are the only 2 teams that I think have done it better than the Texans did.
Yeah, but like just CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans coming in and just immediately elevating the entire roster
Yeah.
to, like you said, winning a division where they probably going into the season they had no business.
They were a
winning
distant,
the
probably... I mean, going into that, the Colts were pretty terrible.
The Texans
going into
were
year last
not,
year.
but nobody there
No.
very few people were like
They're gonna win
these
the
guys are
division
gonna win the
this year.
division.
I thought the Texans would win in the range of like
We thought
7 to 9.
like improvement,
and
but
then
not.
maybe like a year or 2 down the road would be the year where they would have like, okay, this is like
Well,
a
then
Super
even
Bowl.
if people thought they were going to win the division, none of them probably thought they were going to win a playoff game.
No.
And they go and win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And then who did they play in the second round?
Ravens.
And the Ravens beat the crap out of them
Yeah.
again. Sometimes,
The
sometimes you just run into a better
The
team.
Ravens
that's
and
what happened.
Texans gap is pretty low.
Yeah, it was last year.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, this year we'll see, but
This year that
sometimes
gap
you
will
just
not
run.
be as
Yeah,
large, I don't
sometimes you
think.
just run into a better team, and that's what happened with the Texans last year. It is what it is.
Well, I think in the NFL, a big thing is matchups too. Because I mean, in high school and in college football, it's like, yeah, this is just straight up a better team. But in the NFL, it's like, well, I mean, the Ravens beat the crap out of the Texans, but if you go Texans Chiefs, we might see a better game. I don't know. It's all about matchup. I mean, because you got the Bengals beating the Chiefs, then losing to the Browns. Like, I mean, are we seriously saying the Browns are better than the Chiefs? No, it's
Well,
all
the
about
Colts beat
matchups.
the Chiefs.
The Colts,
Yeah,
the Colts literally beat the Chiefs
Yeah,
in 2022 when they had Matt Ryan.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
I don't.
it's all about matchups in the NFL.
We do own Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm saying. He's got his worst record against us.
I guess that is true.
We are his kryptonite.
You keep thinking that.
No, there's no, yeah. If the Colts play the Chiefs today, I'm picking the Chiefs 10 times out of 10.
Oh,
but yeah. We'll see what happens.
Although
in
the Colts
we'll
will be
see,
respectable
Yeah, the
this
Colts
year.
are a respectable team now.
I'm excited to see Anthony Richardson put together a full.
I
Hopefully.
think it's going to be interesting to see Anthony Richardson, actually, like you said, play. Like, is he really the guy? Because he had a flash over a 4-game stretch, and
He was really good when he played last year.
You,
but then
you've said it, like he was Rookie of the Year favorite. Like he was doing
he was on pace
running
with
away
CJ
it.
Stroud
Yeah.
for Rookie of the Year before he got
in the
injured.
first 4 weeks. Then
But is he going to really be that guy for a full year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
We don't know.
We'll see.
He just has to not get hit as much.
He needs to learn to protect his body better. Yes.
Same thing as Joe
But
Burrow.
he's another like kind of Herbert, like just
physical
freak.
Yeah.
Massive arm, like he can just like sling the ball. He's fast.
Yeah.
He's got
Well, but
every
see,
tool that you want.
I mean, his issue, and the reason that I would take Herbert over him is just because of like.
Well, you would take Herbert over him 10 times.
Well, then never mind.
I was not trying.
We're not saying.
I was not
it's a
trying to make
discussion.
a
Like,
Anthony Richardson, Justin Herbert.
Okay. Okay.
We're saying Anthony
was not-
Richardson is also an elite physical
Okay.
specimen.
Yes, that's what I was. Meaning.
Okay.
I would be crazy to think that.
Okay. Cool. I was gonna say I'm taking Herbert over him.
Hey,
Still,
maybe
I mean,
if Herbert just sucks this year, and then
Who knows? Anthony Richardson might
goes
come
off,
out
then
of nowhere.
that might be a conversation.
Yeah.
But as of now, that's far fetched.
okay. Just making sure.
I was not saying that. Just get that out of the way.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you remember the list last year? So Hurts was on
you
that
could
list. I
probably
know
find
that.
it.
I know
Hurts was like
Hurts was like
3 or
4.
4.
Yeah.
he's off. Goff wasn't in there. Obviously Stroud wasn't in there.
Yeah.
I don't think Dak was. Rodgers was, right? I'm pretty sure.
Rodgers
Trevor
was.
Lawrence was in there.
Trevor
He's not
Lawrence
in
is
there
also
anymore.
in there.
I think Kyler Murray was also
I
potentially
think
in
Kirk
there.
was Kirk in there?
Kirk, I
Kirk
think,
might have been in
was,
there.
I think he
yeah.
was at
Kirk
like 10.
Cousins, dude. I think Kirk Cousins is good. Honestly,
He is
man.
good.
Well, before Kirk got hurt, he was having one of his best.
He was
seasons.
having his
I know.
best year statistically by
That's what,
far.
That's what I'm
and he
saying.
got hurt.
I don't think people can forget about him because if he comes back off his Achilles, I think he's gonna be.
Plus,
Especially with
he's
him.
not like a super mobile quarterback. Like most of his effectiveness is in the pocket with
Yeah,
his upper
exactly,
body.
yeah.
So I don't know if that Achilles is going to really impact him that much.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he does with the Falcons.
What?
And then they got...
Repeat to me the list again because I made like 3 changes in this list.
So
that
Patrick
I wanted to
Mahomes
go
at 1,
over. Okay.
Joe Burrow at 2,
Yes.
Josh Allen at 3,
Yes.
Lamar Jackson at 4,
Uh-huh.
Matthew Stafford at 5.
That was a change.
Yeah.
I have Matthew Stafford all the way at 10, and I have Stroud at 5.
You have who do you have above Matthew Stafford?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Okay.
I added Jalen Hurts to the list because I personally think Jalen Hurts is still pretty good. And then I have Rodgers, and then I have Dak at 9. But you could flip those two. I don't really care.
Yeah, there's no way you have Dak Prescott above Matthew Stafford. That's crazy to me.
I think that's fair, honestly.
No.
I think so.
I think Matthew Stafford's year last year was arguably the most impressive in his whole career. He lost a bunch of guys.
Okay,
he got
flip 'em. I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
going to sit
fair.
here and defend Dak Prescott. I don't really care. Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, whatever.
Yeah, it's one
Put
spot.
Stafford
Who
at
cares?
9 then. Okay, Stafford's 9, Dak's 10.
Well, if we're going off of last year's stats, I think Hurts doesn't belong on this list. But if we're going as like total
I
body
tend-
of work
yeah,
quarterback, I think he does.
I
But
tend to go.
off of last year, he was bad.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
He wasn't bad,
He was
but he was
disappointing.
disappointing.
I
yeah.
tend to go, like, when I'm leaning towards, like, when I do these lists, I tend to go, who do I think's the overall best player? I don't tend to rank him just off of the last season. Now, if we're going just off of the last season, then yeah, Jalen Hurts isn't on the list.
Yeah.
But I tend to go towards the, like, who do I think is overall the top 10 right now?
Yeah.
And I think Jalen Hurts is still deserving to be on the list. I mean, he had one bad year,
Yeah, that's fair.
you know?
Nick, why do you have Stafford? Where do you have Stafford? You
I
don't
have
have Stafford at 5.
7,
You have him at
personally.
7.
I think what he did. 'Cause
Give
here's the thing.
give your Stafford argument.
Here's the thing. Matthew Stafford going into last year, like, had his offensive line was terrible. His running back was a second-year, 4th-round pick. Puka Nacua was a 5th-round pick. All he really had offensively was Cooper Kupp.
He was also coming off of his UCL. or
Yeah,
whatever
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
called.
Like
thought he was gonna be
going into last year, like going into this past season, there was a lot of like question marks. Like if Matthew Stafford has another injury riddled or like down year, is it time to move on from him? He made the Rams very good. Yeah. Like they lost to the Lions by 1 point.
They
in the
shouldn't
wild card
have, to be
round.
honest with you. I think they should have
They,
beat the
they
Lions.
very easily could have beat the Lions that game.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua won. He didn't know, but he had like the best rookie year by a wide receiver, arguably ever. Statistically, you could probably say Jamar Chase just because Jamar made the Super Bowl. There's a couple other guys, but Puka Nacua broke the receiving yards record for a rookie. Like Puka Nacua is immediately an elite wide receiver. Kyron Williams exploded on the scene, and the Rams went from potentially last in the division to a new age offensive juggernaut.
I think Matthew Stafford is really good at elevating the people around him. I think that's kind of like Cooper Kupp had the best season of a receiver I've ever seen.
He also lost Cooper Kupp last year.
Yeah,
in the middle of the year.
And then he does what he did with Cooper Kupp with some random rookie.
Yeah,
that I've never heard.
Part of that is because of Sean McVay.
Yeah.
But like Stafford it's different from Brock Purdy because Stafford's also an elite physical talent, even
Yeah.
at even in his mid-30s. You know,
Now, I think Sean McVay is an absolute
mastermind,
offensive
offensively.
mastermind.
He's like one of the best.
Sean
one of the
McVay
best
is
coaches.
one of my favorite coaches in the
Yes.
entire NFL. I love Sean McVay. I think he's a great coach. But I do think that Matthew Stafford, I think him with Stafford is an awesome combination.
Yeah. This is the first year I can remember that Matthew Stafford elevated the talent around him.
Yeah.
Like when he was in Detroit, he was either
I would say he
underperforming.
did it with Cooper Kupp too.
I mean, yeah.
But they won the Super Bowl that
They won a
year,
Super
so-
Bowl that year, so they also had a super team. But it's like
Yeah, but I'm just thinking in terms of like receiving wise. I mean,
Offensive
Cooper Kupp was good, but he was not that.
Triple Crown winner.
I mean,
good,
that was
yeah.
like Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss esque.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, I thought after Stafford had that UCL surgery, I thought he was going to be done. 'Cause
Well, I know.
that's-
Yeah, you were saying you were saying that last year.
'Cause-
I was still like, I mean, I was defending him.
I was really low. I had him at like the lower part of. I had
Well,
like
and see,
18 or something.
and see that's another reason why I think I was slow to put him all the way at number 5, just because I mean, dude was making a jump from like 20 to 5 in one. Like that's a huge. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you put him at 9. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I think he top 10 is deserving.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
after this year, he deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, he was pretty good.
yeah, he was really good last year. He was.
And I mean, yeah, like Puka kind of came out of nowhere. I actually watched Puka play in college, and I didn't even know it.
Where was he?
But he was at BYU,
He
played-
He played.
Yeah, he played at BYU for.
so I watched him play, but I can't remember. I don't remember.
see, I
Actually,
don't even.
actually, I think he scored against us, but I don't think he was anything too crazy. I
Like
didn't
no one
think
knew
he
who this
was
guy
gonna-
was.
No, but yeah, I mean to elevate him now, they have him and Cooper Kupp as a tandem, which is going to be fun to watch. And then Kyron Williams coming in off of I think he tore his ACL or tore something in his knee the year prior.
Yeah.
And this was his first full healthy year, and he burst onto the scene.
Now I have. Well, actually, no. We'll get to him in a second. We should move on to the running backs because I do have a thing with Kyron Williams.
Do we have any other things to talk about with the quarterbacks?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think we've
talked.
talked. I think we all know our opinions on Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff deserves to be in there.
Yeah,
as
I mean,
well after the season he had
Was
last year.
very close to taking the Lions to the Super Bowl. Had a great
Yeah,
season.
that's what I'm saying. Taking two separate franchises to the Super Bowl is no joke.
Yeah,
And Jared Goff was this close to doing that last year.
and I mean it's like
I don't know why. It's just like I don't have anything against Jared Goff, but I just like when I'm sitting down making these lists, it's just like
I think it's
I would
just
take
'cause
these guys over him.
He's kind of just like a fly under the radar type of guy.
He's had such a weird career.
Like I'm just like I'm looking at like talent. I'm looking at just like I just every time I sit down to do this, like does he like yeah he deserves to be in the top 10, but I don't have him in my top 10 because I'm not taking him over Herbert, Stroud. I mean Hurts even. Like I just
Yeah,
He's had a weird career because he entered the league. He was terrible with the Rams.
Yeah.
And then Sean McVay came to town, and he went to the Super Bowl in his second year. And now he's elite.
yeah.
And then he dropped off and then got traded to the Lions. And then the first year with the Lions wasn't great, so now
Yeah.
people think he sucks again. But now the last 2 years, it's like, okay, now he's taking
The
the
last-
Lions to places they haven't
He's
seen
just
in
been
30
so
years.
up and down.
Yeah.
I
the
just-
last 2 years he's had 4,500 yards a season, 30 touchdowns, and
He's beat the Sean McVay system
Yeah.
allegations,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, he has, but
So,
I don't know. He's just been so up and down. Every time I sit down and talk about the top 10 quarterbacks, it's hard for me to put him in there just because I'm looking at these guys that are just more talented than him. I think,
yeah, I mean when you go off of like pure talent, he's not. But just based off
and
of,
he's just had such a weird career.
based off of what the Lions did last year and how he performed, I think it's fair for him to be on this list. I mean, we're still like the Lions were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
which
they
I
also
never thought I would.
Yeah,
say.
they also beat the Chiefs
Which is
in Week
insane.
1.
Yes,
Like
they
I
did.
think if they played Kansas City, they could have also given the Chiefs a real run for their money
That's insane.
last year, which is and I can't believe I'm even saying that.
Jared Goff, because they played the Chiefs that Monday night game,
yeah,
right? where
the
Jared Goff threw
54-51
for,
game
like, 1 million yards.
in 2018.
Yeah,
that was Jared
yeah,
Goff.
that was that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and then the Rams put up 3 points in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Patriots after having the best offense in the NFL in 2018.
Patriots, man. Bill
So
Belichick.
annoying.
No,
So annoying.
That's what they do, man.
I still will never forgive them for that. But
Well, then, you had Trevor Lawrence pretty high last year, right?
Yeah, I think I had him at 5 or 6.
I think I had him at like 8 last year.
And now he's
Yeah, he's not even on the list for me.
He could, if he has another good year, he could jump all the way back up. Though he just, he just needs to have that year where it's like we expect him to be an elite quarterback, and he hasn't had it.
I have always been super high on him in the Jags. So if he has a good year this year, in my opinion, he'll be right back up in the top 10.
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
could.
So,
he could
like,
very easily jump in the top 10.
Like,
I feel like the top
well, they
six are pretty
upgraded
set.
his receiver core.
Yeah.
They got Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I feel like the top 6 is pretty set, but other than that, like I could see any of these guys from 7 to like 19, depending on the year that they have.
Because the Jordan Love, Tua, Kirk, Trevor, that's like all close, and then you got like Hurts and all those guys, and then
where do we have Jordan Love, real quick?
I have Jordan Love probably in like the 12 range.
I have him 13.
I would say probably 12 or 13.
Yeah,
because
I was just about to say before we move on to the running backs, I wanted to give a shout out to Jordan Love because he's on this list.
Because he was great in the back half of the season.
But the first half
he wasn't. But the back half was like if he carries what he did the back half of last season to this season, he's gonna make a push for the top 10, and he probably could be.
I think Jordan Love very well could be the Packers' like next quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
because he was phenomenal last year.
I've been high on Jordan Love for a while
now.
You
hit on that one.
I like Jordan Love a lot.
Jordan Love was really good last year.
But
I like him a lot.
Didn't he have like? He threw a ton of interceptions like the first couple
8 weeks.
Like the first 2 or 3 weeks.
He cleaned it up though.
And then he didn't turn the ball over really at all.
It was like more so around like I remember like Thanksgiving. Like I remember watching the Thanksgiving game against the Lions. He really turned it around, man. And from then on out, it was kind of.
And like the Packers, their receivers aren't anything crazy. Like he's got Romeo Doubs, who's like super inconsistent. Dontavian Wicks had a good season.
Christian Watson's insane, but
he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So like his.
And then Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed was good. He's gonna be good. I like him.
But it's just kind of like it's a mixture of
you need to see more. You need to see more from him.
Yeah,
it's similar to Trevor Lawrence, where it's like he's had half a good year, and we all thought Trevor Lawrence was going to shoot up that list, and then the season actually happened, and it's like, okay, well when is this breakthrough coming through?
I still think that with I think Christian Watson can definitely be that wide receiver 1 for the Packers.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, fix up his like hamstring and his injuries and stuff. If Christian Watson's on the field all 17 games, I think he's going to be nasty.
Yeah,
I think him and Love are going to be a pretty dang good duo.
Yeah, he just hasn't stayed healthy.
Yeah, but as long as he stays healthy, he is that guy.
And now they have Josh Jacobs, so that'll help. That'll help.
Which is a really good addition to the backfield. Josh Jacobs is going to. I think we'll see Josh Jacobs have his closest year to the fantasy RB1 that we saw 2 years ago. Yeah, I think this year with the Packers he's gonna have that I don't think he'll return to that, but I think that he will be a very good running back 1 again.